Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively on Sunday the 25th of May 2025 with FLOSSTUBE number 268. I had to look at my notes today. Welcome back to my weekly YouTube channel about counted cross stitch on this sunny morning here in Upper Hutt in the Wellington region of New Zealand. Cool morning, warming up. It'll be a cool evening, I'm sure. So I'm a bit red. I just spent probably an hour looking for a bloody chart that for the life of me I couldn't find. And I'm like, where did I put it? Well, I found it. So I'll show you that later. It's a planned start for next week. But for the life of me I could not find it. And it must have just got caught up between I went through the same pile of stuff about 4 times, but then I realised it was a half-size chart, so then I looked differently, as in I wasn't looking for a full-size chart, I was looking for a half-size, and then it was nestled between some photocopied / printed out bits and pieces. So yeah, I found it. So yeah, I can do the video. I didn't have a video last week. I was away in Christchurch for the weekend, and I had a very busy week, so I didn't have a hope in hell of getting a video done, but thanks everyone for letting me have a week off. I had a lovely time in Christchurch. I went down. The reason for the trip was I needed to pick up a whole bunch of framing. I had my fractors, my 8 fractor birds to pick up, so I have those to show you in a minute as FFOs. I had also hoped to get them up on the wall. I only yesterday bought a framing placement tool, like at 3:30 yesterday afternoon. And I want to cut out pieces of paper that are the sizes of the things and get them up on the wall with washi tape. And then I want to plan the framing so that they're a nice cluster, because they go in all together on the wall above my spare bed, my spare bedroom. So I didn't get around to that yesterday, and this morning I've spent an hour looking for a bloody chart. But anyway, it's fine. I should get them up, over the next weekend at the very latest. I hope to. They're piled up on a chair in my living room, so I want to do that. But anyway, the reason I went down was to pick up my framing. I've got I pre-recorded a video which I'll insert shortly, and then I also took the opportunity to catch up with my brother and new sister-in-law, who live now in Rangiora down in Canterbury, and then went to the Christchurch Stitchy meetup that Debbie organises on Sunday afternoons. That was kind of fun, just going for a couple of hours to stitch and chat with some old and new friends. I did a little bit of shopping as well, so that's I'll show you that shortly as well. I pre-recorded the haul because it was quite a lot and I wanted to put it away. So this video is a little haul heavy, because I also received some stuff in the mail this week. Anyway, so when I was down in Christchurch, yeah, did a bit of shopping. I'd picked up a few things that I'd had put away, that I'd purchased from Art and Frame online, and then took my brother and sister-in-law out for a lovely dinner on Saturday afternoon. We went to King of Snake, is it King of Snake, I think, in Christchurch. It's quite a fine dining Asian fusion restaurant, really lovely. We did one of the chef's sort of choice menus, and delicious. Man, their deep fried eggplant, amazing. If you don't like eggplant, I'd challenge you to not enjoy that dish. It was pretty good. So that was really lovely, and we wandered around Christchurch a bit and went to a bar for a drink first, and then went to a dessert, to a patisserie for a dessert after. So we just made the most of the lovely afternoon evening in Christchurch, and it was nice to get into the city. I hadn't been into the city centre since possibly around like pre-earthquake, so maybe 2006, 2007-ish is the last time I've been in the city centre. I don't know Christchurch that well anyway, but it was certainly, apart from the cathedral, looking really good. Slurping from my cross-stitch nation mug that the lovely Judith gifted me this year. Okay, so let's insert the video I did of the rather ridiculous haul. I've got so much stuff I need to sort that out. I'm okay. I'm bordering on, I might have too much stuff now. So maybe I need to slow down with the purchasing. But anyway, here goes the video of the stuff that I brought back in my suitcase from Christchurch. When I was in Christchurch, I did a little bit of shopping, and it was a bit extravagant, and I need to kind of slow down. I've been a bit mad of late, so I've actually got quite a lot of stuff. So I did a bit of an audit the other day, and I was talking to Suzie. She picked me up and said, I was like, I've actually got so much stuff. I need to calm the farm a little bit, and stop stress shopping. I'm not that stressed. Work stressful, but I'm not stressed. Does that make sense? But I'm just working so hard, and I like getting shiny things, so I kind of need to slow it down a little bit. Anyway, there's sort of too much to leave till Sunday to film. It'll take me like 3 hours to film. So I thought, and I kind of want to get it put away or put fabric with projects and stuff. So I thought I would just do a little haul filming now, and I'll just pop it into the video next week on Sunday. Probably be quite a long one, but never mind. So over the last, knowing that I was going back to Christchurch to pick up my framing, and I'd already paid for my framing, so that felt like it was free. But I had been, I'd purchased a few things in sales. So Karen's been really putting up a few sales. Karen from Art and Frame has been putting up a few sales posts of late, and I've just, as I've seen stuff, I've just jumped on it and said, I'll have it, put it away because I need more stash, like a hole in the head. So, but first of all, and I didn't pay for this, so thank you, Karen. I put my hand up for this because I have books 1, 2, and 3 I purchased maybe last year, before Christmas, like October or November, and this one's come out, and I said, oh, can you put that aside for me? So Karen said, yeah, and I guess, you know, I did quite a lot of spending on framing and stuff, so I appreciate her giving this to me. Am I ever going to stitch anything in these books? I don't know, maybe one day. I do want to do a little bit more embroidery. I've done some embroidery in the past, but I really would like to give a couple of these a go. I'm probably not going to buy the kits. Most of the kits sell out pretty quick, but they're just so beautiful to read, and the techniques and stuff. Like, you know, part of me would love to stitch this. Like this one, was there a big picture of it? Simmerkund, like this little gold work table mat thing is stunning. I would love to stitch something like that. I know that with patience and the right, you know, I have the ability to stitch it. I just have to, you know, want to invest in the time. So it's a Japanese style bead embroidery, they call it. So at the time of publishing, you can buy the kits. I know the kits sell out. So there's a picture of all the projects. So yeah, what is it? The handpicked collection. I'm all over the show. I'm trying to rush to get back to work. But here's a picture of the kits page, which sort of shows all the projects in there. So they're just, I don't know, they're eye candy and they make me happy, whether I stitch any of them or not. They're pretty. Pick up, read through how they did stuff, how they pull things together. But there's like, in each of these books that I've got, there's at least 3 projects that I could see myself stitching some or giving a go. Like that crewel work cushion is amazing. Certainly that Samarkand, I don't know how to say it, that one. And in this book, probably they're the two that jump out at me. The other one would be this Tulip Time. So really, yeah, that kind of little pincushion and scissor holder, that's really lovely. And then over a couple of weeks I picked up a couple of things on sale. First up, a couple of very unusual for me, but they appealed to me. These might not even have been on sale, I don't remember. These two might not have been on sale, I might be telling lies, but they just appealed to me. Again, I want to stitch some more things that don't require framing. These are Just Nan. This one's Floral 15. It comes with the beads. I'll just get some linen. This one needs a couple of different kinds of linen. It needs a white and like a mint green or willow green. It suggests either 30 count White Swan Legacy and Soft Willow Legacy, or 28 count Swagart Antique White and Mint Green. I will probably do the 28 count, but I'll just have to get some mint green. I'll either dye it myself or get Catherine to do me up some kind of small cut for it. It's really pretty. It's got the beads, and then it's just this one's calls for a Veriswire 103. Feels like a great excuse to go shopping, or I could probably kit it up myself. I don't really care, one day. And the other one, the Just Nan one I bought at the same time, is called 15 Tiny Gardens, they're both 15-sided biscornu. Have I stitched a 4-sided biscornu? No, I haven't, or I guess it's 8-sided. But it's so beautiful. So if I can put that ball together, I could do that, right? So this one is DMC at least, and it calls for 32 count antique white and baby pink Swagart Belfast linen, and they're only small, so again I probably can source that through Catherine, not a huge cut. That's Catherine at Country Stitch. Then a couple of sale items I had. This was sort of half price-ish. Just, you know, I need another red sampler. So Florence Law from Hands Across the Sea. I liked that little red sampler. I would personalise it, I'm sure. But I liked the Waste Not, Want Not. Which, you know, and Waste Not, Want Not with those orts. She knows what I'm talking about. Save that 2 cents or 0.2 cent worth of floss. And then this one, and that's me saying you should save it, her saying it's like 2 cents or less, get, you know, don't worry about it. I'm like, yeah, I agree with her, except I can't help it. I'm a short ort kind of gal. Anyway, this one is a Scarlet Letter. It's a band sampler of the 17th century, so a reproduction chart, and I just really loved it. It's filled with specialty, or I should say, I don't like using the word specialty, it's filled with embroidery stitches that are not cross stitch, and lots of bands of things. So it's got Italian Montenegrin cross stitch, Queen, counted satin, French knots, double running, turkey work, detached buttonhole and a back stitch. And model was stitched on 40 count linen. And some of it's done over 3 threads, not 2. I just really liked it. It'll be fun. I loved this panel at the top. Kind of drew me to it. It is recommended for very advanced needle workers. I'm sure I'm considered that. And then while I was in the shop, I'm like, it would be rude not to check out this other sales things and stuff. So I grabbed this sampler. This was half price as well from Samplers Remembered. Again, another red sampler. I just liked the layout of it. It's Alice Bearton 1885. Not a massive sampler. It's pretty big. 231 over 237. Good mid-size one. This Teresa Kogut one I hadn't really seen before. And it's called Be Kind. And I liked it. Obviously, that's why I got it. Not a big one. Model was stitched on 35 count Weeks Dye Works corn silk, or linen. I will use the linen of my choice, and it's charted in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks Dye Works flosses. There's a DMC. There's a DMC available at her website, but I'm sure I can work that out, find something to stitch that in. And this one, anyway, I just kind of fancied a large rooster on my wall, and I enjoy the fact that it says cock-a-doodle-doo. Just appealed to my sense of humour. And again, I would just stitch this on whatever. It's charted in Gentle Art sampler threads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I probably have most of those colours, or it's got a DMC conversion. They've stitched this one on 36 count Sparrow by Birds of a Feather. I've got a bunch of those sorts of colours fabrics. I would be able to kit that up and stitch that probably in a day or two. And then I just grabbed a couple of pieces of fabric because I need more fabric. I just grabbed a 40 count, what is this, fibre on a whim. This is old gold. As I said, I have plenty of fabric I could stitch stuff on. Just that one there. I'm not going to take it out of the wrapper. I just don't have a lot of 40 count. I've got quite a lot of 35. And this one was a 32 count fibre on a whim, Silver Fox. I don't know what to stitch on it. It's actually bluer than that. It looks quite washed out in this light. It's darker than that, so yeah. And then I was at a stitchy thing on Sunday with the Christchurch stitchy meet up that Debbie Angel organised. She has a wee shop there. I felt it would be rude not to buy a few things, and I grabbed a couple of bee themed things because one day I'll have a whole bunch of bee themed things together. Got a few bee things to get finished. Probably most of them will end up being in like little cushions, I think, in a collection, but some primrose cotton stitches, you probably have seen these before. They're not terribly new. 2022. Be nice, so be nice will buzz off. These could easily change the colours. I like the bee and the buzz, but the kind of tealy, minty teal, whatever that colour is, that tealy, light teal colour could be swapped out. And I grabbed honeybees and stitching please. And then this wee one, kind words are like honey. So it's called kind words. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul. Like them. And a couple of pieces of linen. So Debbie had some pieces of Mani Dodonna fabric, and they're not fat. I'm not sure, they're a little bit smaller than a fat quarter. They're 68 by 40 centimeters. I'm not gonna convert that into inches right now. But there was this pumpkin patch one. They're quite interesting. It has some green in it, I guess. So kind of a dark blush, bit of orange and a bit of green, like a olivey green in it. And then I also got a piece of Evening Sky, which is more bruisey. You know how I love a bruisey colour, so rosy, bit of purple, and a little bit of a slight, not sure, anyway, the light's terrible, I don't care. So that was my wee haul, ridiculous. So I can put all this stuff away now, and then I'll see you again back to regularly scheduled program. Ciao. So yeah, that was quite a lot, and a couple of those samplers, you know, who the heck knows when I'm going to do those, but super looking forward to that one day, getting those samplers done. What else did I purchase this week? For any of you who follow either Modern Folk Embroidery and or Evertote, they've announced a stitch along, monthly stitch along, that's going to kick off in August. I purchased the PDF. There's a whole box available of Roxy floss fabrics and floss and physical charts and stuff, but I've just purchased the PDF. So it's called the Modern Folk Embroideries Quintessential Frisian Smalls. So the idea is that each month you stitch, so starting on the 1st, you stitch one of the smalls, and then you learn a new, maybe perhaps new technique. It might not be new for everybody. And then that technique, then you build into the next month, and then learn a new technique. So I believe we start with a little scissor fob, probably, I haven't actually read it. Working your way up to something. I did read about it on my phone. There's some more information on so with the PDF you get an information sheet, but it just sort of talks about, there's a lot of detail about materials and stuff. Just says you need some linen, you need some floss, some scissors, so embroidery scissors, fabric scissors, and embroidery needle, a large needle for threading cord with a sharp point, and a filling material and a ruler. So essentially, if you want to order the box and stuff, pre-orders are available from Evertote, not sponsored. And even the chart, this PDF is a pre-order, so we'll get emailed the end of June, we'll get the PDF. And then, yeah, August the 1st, start of the first project, you'll learn all the basic stitches and how to finish it with a whip stitch. September 1st, the second project will teach you how to make cording and attach it with nearly invisible stitches. October 1st, you'll learn how to sew a biscornu. November 1st, I might have said November, I meant October, I don't know what I said. November 1st, you'll be making a pinwheel made up of different parts. And then January 1st, 2026, you'll learn how to make strawberry, applying cord, and how to make a tassel. So kind of fun. And I think in the booklet as well, there's going to be a bunch of other little mini sampler charts and stuff, so a whole lot of other little things you can stitch up as well. So the reason there's no December stitching is because Modern Folk Embroidery and Evertote and Roxy, they do a Christmas countdown box, so they're leaving December for those people who participate in that, so they can not feel overwhelmed. But anyway, so when you looked at the information on the Evertote website, when you look at the project pre-order, they offer whole lots of different counts of fabric, so you can do whichever fabric you like. And they're providing 3 different colorways for floss as well. They're phthalo red, one of their dark blues, and another color might be a blackish color, blackboard or something. So I'm going to kit that up probably on 36 or 40. I'll see what I've got, and probably just like cream or something. I'll see what I've got in my stash. I believe it'll fit on a wide quarter if you do 36 or 40 count. If you want to do like lower count Ada, you need a little bit more fabric for the wiggle room and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the stitching itself. Isn't overwhelming, and it might motivate me to do some finishing, given that it's part of the project. Yeah, we shall see. One must start finishing things. Support that PDF, and yay for having another project to start on the 1st of August, but not a big project. What else came in the mail? I received this week my Tom and Lily Floss Club from France. This month's theme captures the delicate charm of springtime blooms, blending fresh pigments and unique dyeing techniques to create a soft, airy palette perfect for your seasonal stitching projects. So this month I've already put them on the floss tags. So you may recall I showed you a few weeks ago that I bought a whole bunch of these floss tags from 123 Stitch, and made use of was going to make use of my needle. No, my God, my Dymo Electroset blah 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 label printer thingy. So this is how I'm labeling them. So on the back, on the rough side of the little tag, I'm just putting the name of the floss. So I'm only focusing on my Tom and Lily at the moment. Tom et Lily because it's French. And then on this side, I'm just putting what month it was. So April 2025. And if it has a colour, the colour, not all of them have colours. A lot of them are just dyes for the thing. But if it's one of her regular ranges. So I've already done that. And what I'm doing is as I'm printing the set off for the current month, I'm then printing a set off for the next month. I've done the next couple of months already as well because I was sitting in a meeting, so I just printing times. And then I am slowly working my way back through my back stock. So most of my Tom and Lily I don't have still in the months they receive, but I've just started keeping them together. Should I show you the colours? They are very lovely. Now, you know, I'm not a pink person, but I still 100% acknowledge this is a really pretty palette and I want to keep them together because there will be some project in my future that needs a lot of lovely coordinated pretty colours, and look at that. Isn't that lovely? For my pink friends, my friends who love pink, isn't that beautiful? It is beautiful, even I acknowledge, but also these pinks are the kinds of pinks I do like these sort of slightly warm rosy colours, sort of edging towards salmon. They're not quite salmon, but they're not blue pinks per se. I mean, that's probably a little bit, but yeah, they're not baby pink, and they're not, which I hate baby pink. I don't know, and I don't like that really blue pink, and I don't know, I'm full of shit. I just would never decorate my house in these colours. Most people wouldn't. So yay, love it. Slowly getting that organised. I've been sneezing for the last couple of weeks. It's ridiculous. I think it's the seasonal stuff. Maybe I need to take an extra antihistamine. Maybe I'll try that. I take one in the morning. I can take more, but I don't. Then yesterday in the mail, I also got my Silks for You. I've gone completely blank. Oh, it's on the bloody label. Silks for You, Silk of the Month for April. And I love these colours. These beautiful warm browns coming from that kind of brick colour through to a sort of a barky colour. You love them. That's all the haul that I've had in the last couple of weeks, which is ridiculous. That's a lot, I fully admit. And I'm bordering on overwhelmed. So I've got some lovely fabrics now. I need to go through some of my charts and match them up. I keep buying pretty fabrics. So let's move on to showing off stitching, and I think I'll start with my FFOs. So again, took another little video with my 8 fractal finishes, so I'm going to insert that shortly, just talking about each of them, giving you some probably really dodgy angles with the light, and but trying to show you a bit of the frame and why I picked some of the frames. But 100% recommend, if you've got some framing to do, just go see my friends at Art and Frame in Christchurch. Lovely, great job, and the only thing slowing me down from getting more framed is moolah. So we'll save up and get some more things framed. But no further ado, let's look at what my beautiful FFOs are. What is it, Monday the 19th of May, and I'm just back from my weekend away in Christchurch, and I've got all of my fractors framed to show you, and I thought I'd just sit in a different spot while they're behind me on this chair. So I thought I'll just quickly show you them, and then hopefully this weekend I get them up on the wall. I need to go and buy some hooks and then work out the way I'm going to display them. They're going to be hung up on the wall, a wall in my spare room, and I hope to do that this weekend so I can show you what it looks like. But again, it just depends on me deciding the arrangement and then going and buying some hooks, because I need 8 to hang up my lovely 8 fractors. So excuse the office, I shut one door, I should have shut the other. That's my office, craft room office. It's a work day, it's Monday lunchtime. So, and yeah, I thought I'd just have a bit of a different vignette, my bookshelf that I don't know what I was going to say then. My bookshelf, full stop, and my hallway into my bedroom. Okay, so they're going to be in no particular order because they're literally behind me stacked, and I will show you them. And I love them all so much. Thank you to Tanya and the team at Art and Frame. And so first up just happens to be Fractor 16, which I called Maurice. I named them just because I wanted to have names of them. I've put the date that they were FFO'd, the date I picked them up, so the 17th of May. They were actually FFO'd a couple of weeks ago. But this is a chart from Stitching Spell. I think I got it from either Etsy or some similar kind of site. It's on 40 count Sahara linen by Country Stitch and a partial DMC conversion. So since I showed you my finish, I also named the triplets. I've named all of the fractors, and just for shits and giggles really. So the three triplets are Mabel, Martha and Marvin, just because I wanted to. So even though it's probably a female bird, this bird identifies as Maurice. So there's Maurice with the triplets there. Gonna get a little bit of glare. I just got what did I get? Conservation glass, yeah, but not museum glass or anything like that. But here's the frame. I have used this frame before. I got Night Walk Down framed in this, but it's going to be in a different room. So even though I intended to not reuse the frame, I do love that frame. So I kind of liked the sort of viney look around it. Kind of felt like it just went with it. But anyway, there is Maurice and the triplets. Next up is Pennsylvania Fractor Heart from Kathy Barrett, is a chart that I borrowed from Zeb. Thank you, Zeb, again. So I called him Jervis. He is on 40 count Tickle the Ivory Dames of the Needle linen. It was a scrap I had from another project. I personalised the border and I used my own over-dyed cotton. What else can I say about it? Yeah, so this is the one. So this is the one where I've talked about it several times, where I used the alphabet. This originally had an alphabet around it. I think it was finished in the booklet as a cushion. It's a companion to one of my other pieces that I'll show you. And I personalised this for me and to show the, I forgot what I was going to say. My suburb, Wallaceville in Upper Hutt, changed from Trentham when I first moved into this house. And the frame there, I just liked the kind of swirly frame. So I wanted all the frames to kind of go together because they're going to be on one wall, but will be different apart from the pair. So this sort of has a swirl in it that I kind of felt like the movement kind of matched, you know, the movement of the heart, and they're a bit softer frame. Next up is Fractor Frida by Lardy Da. So again, another chart that Zeb loaned me. I stitched this one on 40 count Havana linen. Their model was stitched on Havana, but a larger count. And I used my own over-dyed linen. And of course, Frida already had a name. And this one, because she has a bit of darker linen, I really wanted something kind of quite vintagey looking. And I love this frame so much. I kind of liken it to looking like a bit of rusty rebar. And it's got such lovely texture. So there is Frida, and I used all my own colours. They were, you know, inspired by the original palette. I wasn't trying to make it look very different, but I just used stuff from my stash. I love her so much. There's Frida. Next up is the last fractor that I stitched out of all of this pile. So I finished this one in March, February, March this year I stitched it. It was again another Stitching Spell chart, Fractor 15. I've called them Fernando and Philomena. And they are on 40 count bourbon linen from Country Stitch. And again, this one was mostly my own, it's DMC, but my own colours, because I stitched it from what I call my overstock. So where I have too many skeins, rather than I just went and pulled colours. Also, the linen was quite a lot more mustardy than the model was sort of printed on. I mean, no, it wasn't a model, it was a digital mock-up. So I kind of wanted to, particularly around the, I picked a gold instead of a bright yellow because the bright yellow just looked wrong on this. So this one is here. So here's Fernando and Filomena. And this frame I chose because I felt like this sort of filigree border kind of, the texture kind of emulated that inner border. I quite like it with layers of border and stuff. So again, it's, you know, at a distressed sort of, they're all kind of blackish. This one has a bit of rubbing on it, so you kind of see this warm tone coming through on the etched kind of water and stuff. I love it. Okay, Pennsylvania Fractor. This is, I think the actual name of it is Pennsylvania Fractor in Needle and Thread by Kathy Barrick. And again, this is kind of the companion piece to Pennsylvania Heart. I had this one on a PDF. So this is 40 count merino linen from Country Stitch using my own overdyed conversion. And a bunch of personalizations because anyway, I made quite a few mistakes with some of the birds, but because they're all different sizes, it doesn't really matter. So I also personalized it with my name, and again, this is the one where when I stitched it, my suburb was called Trentham before they changed it to Wallaceville. So this one is just quite a simple frame with kind of a concave kind of curve to it. It's just looks like slightly textured distressed wood. I just love the simplicity of it, like the fact that this kind of darkish, it's like a warm black or a super dark chocolate brown, but it's a warm black kind of, you know, kind of goes well with the warm grey of their beaks and faces. So I have, since I stitched this, I decided, because I'm naming all of them, I have given them all names. I love how they're all like different sizes, fat and tall and skinny, and just, you know, there's a fractal bird in all of us. And I've just given them alphabetical names, so I don't really care. But from top going this way, got Amelia, Barnabas, Clarence, Donald, Eleanor, Franklin. That was just how the names came out. Gladys, Harriet, and Isaac. Next up, we've got Frederick and Frederica. These are from Carriage House Samplings. They're the two that started off my love of the fractal birds. And I started Frederick as one of my 50 at 50 projects, or started and finished him. They're both on 40 count drifting sands from Country Stitch using the called for DMC with some personalizations by way of errors, but who cares? So they're both on the same fabric, and I've got the matching frames. Here is Frederick. Isn't he fabulous? And I love this frame. Again, the kind of, it's, you know, blackish frame with a buffed sort of gilded white gold kind of gilding rubbed through. I don't really know how to describe it, but I liked how this kind of light color kind of reflected the light color in the border, and I loved how it kind of has this double edge to the frame, which then emulated the double dark edge in the inside. I like the layers of framing again. So there's Frederick, and reaching behind me carefully is his Frederica. So exactly the same frame. Didn't Tanya do a fabulous job framing them? So they're going to look stunning together. Isn't she lovely? And of course, pomegranates. Can't go past a pomegranate. But classic example of how, like, these, you know, are charted in NPIs, and I stitched them with the DMC, and I love silk, but DMC is wonderful, so I love these so much. So can I show them together without dropping them? By the way, you can carry 8 framed pieces back in luggage from Christchurch with a lot of bubble wrap. So there they are together. Oh, back and forward mirrors. I am so in love with these. Okay, and the last but not least, the biggest, this one had to go in my, I had to pick, those 7 went in my checked, my carry-on, so pretty much those 7 wrapped with a bunch of bubble wrap in my carry-on bag, weighed 6.6 kg, so I had 400 grams to spare, so it was all good for cheeky, for carry-on. And then this one had to go in my luggage, so I had a whole bunch of bubble wrap, and I had all my clothes underneath, and then on top of it some other shopping and stuff, and soft things and my toilet bags and all that. And that I did check it, and I was like, it'll be fine, I'm sure. My checked on bag was only like 14 kgs. But this is the largest one. This was another 50 at 50, another stitching spell one off of Etsy, Fractor 12 it was called, but I named him Cornelius. Cornelius and Friends, they do have names. Cornelius, Chester, Oscar, Jasper, Bertram, and Percy or Percival are the other little birds, but Cornelius is the big bird. And I stitched this one on 40 count corn straw from Country Stitch using a variation of the called for. I amped up a couple of the colours because they weren't bright enough, but also I was stitching on this corn straw fabric. So look at that. So this frame has a kind of burnished look to it. It sort of looks a bit like hickory old wood that's been just softened over time. It has kind of more of a concave curve to it. There's a frame there. So thank you to Karen at Art and Frame for helping me pick out the frames, and we go, no, yes, that's good. I was pretty quick with most of them. There's only a couple I dithered with, but all in all I think they're going to look fabulous together, and I love them and I'm so happy with them. So yeah, those are my framed, fully finished objects. 8 less in the cupboard. I'm only down to, I could count them, but I reckon there's probably 120 projects in there to frame or finish or do nothing with, so who knows. But yeah, thanks for that. I will return you to some regularly scheduled program. Ciao. So what do you think? Amazing. I'm like, I picked them up on Saturday and it had a look at them in the shop. And then, Karen and I wrapped them and then wrapped them back up again. And I packed them really carefully in my cases. Went to the stitching thing on Sunday. And I was like, oh, I don't want to get them out again. Yeah, anyway, then I unwrapped them. I went and got my suitcase out of the car, came in, unwrapped them on, put them on like the braid table so people could have a look. And Tanya was there as well, so I don't know, it was nice. So she's the one who framed them. I think some people didn't know she did framing. And there were some newish people there, newish people to that stitchy group as well. So I then wrapped them all up again and then packed everything really carefully. So yeah, again, I think I told you how heavy my bags were. So I only had one checked. The others were all in my carry-on because I purposefully, I wouldn't have taken 8 large projects down. A, budget, B, can't get them back. Only one of them had to go in my suitcase, didn't fit in my carry-on. So yeah, looking forward to get them on the wall. So that is, I don't often have FFOs. I haven't had FFOs for a while. 8 FFOs. So that's reduced the pile in the wardrobe by a tiny bit. What did I stitch on the last couple of weeks? So 3 projects, 4 projects. So 2 weeks ago, I carried on with my Birdy Boulevard, did a little bit more. So I finished, I think I had to do a little bit of stitching in here maybe. And then I came in and I did this row in here. So I thought I might get a little bit further on it, but I got caught up with my Crowns of the Kingdom. So, but here it is here. So here's where Birdy Boulevard from It Takes a Village collection from Carolyn Manning Designs on 28 count lugana, Little Boy Blue from Country Stitch. I don't stitch a lot on even weave, but I'm stitching all of this collection on even weave. And yeah, nice soft colours from Catherine from Country Stitch. So I'm using Call for GMC. And this is where this one is. So I got, yeah, finished off I think I had to do some back stitching up here, and then I did that row there. So, and this little bird here is actually on the next row, but it was just, I had that colour on the needle and I just thought, well, I'll, you know, stitch that little bird ready, so when I do that row, that little bird's done, because that colour was right there. Similar like this, technically this flower here is on this row, but again, I was right there with that dark green, carried it on, and similar colours in that flower. So, you know, just made use of that. So I'm really liking how that's looking. Nice to see it. I was going to say vacuumed, but I meant ironed, because I think when I showed you this last week, I did a couch one. Was it a couch one 2 weeks ago? And I didn't iron anything. She was running a bit shorter time. So that is, yeah, haven't stitched on this last week. That was from 2 weeks ago. And then also I carried on, and this one, so I carried on 2 weeks ago working on Crowns of the Kingdom. This is Rosewood Manor. This was a nearly 3 year stitch along with my friend Suzie, who was at the Stitchy gathering. She picked me up, or I got dropped off at her place, her shop, and then she drove me to the Stitchy thing and to the airport after. So this is on 32 count antique white linen with the called for Petite Treasure Braid. So as you can see, I've got a finish date on here. This was a 50 at 50 start. We started it with Suzie on the day off we had for the QE2 Memorial in New Zealand, but I finished it on the Stitchy weekend. So I stitched and stitched and stitched on this one to get it to the point where all I had left was to fill in the centre motif. And hadn't been 100% sure what I was going to put in there. I think that when we were at the Christchurch retreat, maybe, Suzie, I think it was Suzie, was it you, Suzie, suggested, why don't you make it Queen of the Needle? So on Friday lunchtime, when I was trying to get stuff done, I quickly drafted up Queen of the Needle using my Brenda Key's Sampler Motif book. And then I took this to the Stitchy day and I rang the bell. I took my own bell. I purchased a bell from Suzie's shop, so I could ring. I purchased from anyway. Suzie has a florist shop in lovely homewares and things in Kaiapoi in Canterbury, Christchurch. And last time I was there, I picked a couple of things out and told her to hang on to them. So they came back in my suitcase as well. But here it is. So I managed to ring the bell, ran and got my own bell, rang the bell, and I stitched this. So this she is finished, bling bling. You can't tell on here, but it is really sparkly. And of course, people could see it in person at the Stitchy thing and went, oh wow, it is really sparkly. So here is the bit. So that bit there, that was the last big motif I did, which had all the satin stitch. So I did put it in a little nudge hoop to do the satin stitch. And here is how I charted. It was really hard to chart in something that is really uneven, but they've got Queen of the Needle, and happy with it. Happy with it as it's gonna be. And it's done. It's my second of the done. Of the Kingdom. I've got Griffins of the Kingdom and now Crowns of the Kingdom done. I have 2 other of the Kingdom charts. There was, I think, 5. I don't like the 5th one, but I've got Keys of the Kingdom and I've got Crosses of the Kingdom. Cross of the Kingdom is also in a whole lot of metallic. That needs to wait because I'm over metallic after stitching that. And I think Cross of the Kingdom comes with a couple of colorways. I think I'll probably stitch that in DMC. I know Suzie, when I first met Suzie, she was stitching on Keys of the Kingdom at the first Christchurch retreats. That was back in 2021. And she was adding a whole lot of other like key charms and and I think she said she's going to extend it. She's going to make it bigger so that it's a similar size, I think. But I think I'm just going to do crosses. I might add a little bit of metallic in, but I'm going to have a break from the of the Kingdom for now. Yay for ringing the bell and having a finish on Sunday. So that's stitched. I continued stitching over the last couple of weeks, on my red thread a day project. So this is Under the Red Blues by Isabelle Vautier. That is also been going on for a couple of years now. So this is on 40 count Kauri linen from Christchurch using Gentle Arts Claret, and this red thread a day is just keeping it in a focus and stuff. So since you last saw it in the last couple of weeks, I don't remember what I showed you 2 weeks ago. I've done quite a lot. I think I had I done the satin stitch in these ones? I don't remember. I don't think I had. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm up to there. I've got the next row of alphabet in this week. And I am loving it. So here's where we are. It's good. I'm going to run out of room. I'm not going to be able to show this soon. She's a long one. There we are. It's attractive. There we go. That's where we are. And yeah, so loving this one. So where am I up to? So I'm up to, I've stitched to there. So not quite 3/4. I say the next row I'll be 3/4. I'm still planning to get that finished in June, by the end of June. Well, definitely by the end of July, but so yeah, anyway, we'll be fine to get it done before my #stash sampler starts. And then this week, I just felt like doing something random when I got home. I didn't feel like pulling out a sampler in one of my 300 projects. I don't have 300 to finish. And I went through my stash and just grabbed out of my kitted things. Well, actually, I took this with me to Christchurch because I thought, I'll have time to finish that sparkly one and then start something. I didn't have time to start anything. It took me nearly the 3 hours to stitch that bloody, was that to frog it a few times, stitch that thing in the middle. Anyway, I grabbed this. This is one I had in my stash for a while, kitted up, just on a scrap of linen. It's just a chart I picked up, I think on sale from, I don't know when, I think I got it from Martin Frame a while ago. So it's called If Cats Could Talk. It's just a quirky little elongated cat, stylized cat from Designs by Lisa. It's a chart from 2011, so it wasn't a new one at all. The model was done on 28 count Queens and Lace Jobelin from Whitchelt and charted in sampler threads, also DMC, and it also called for a Mill Hill glass treasure, a domed bright red heart. It's hard to see, but around the neck below the red collar there's a dangly charm. What did I do? Well, I had it kitted up on a scrap of 32 count Cyprus linen from Fibre on a Whim. I hate this linen, just not nice to stitch on. I don't know why, but it's fluffy and hard to see, and I know at least part of it is half a thread off. I don't care, I worked around it. Part of the wording's off, but you can't tell. And I use my own overdyed conversion, Tom and Lily and Victorian Motto from my stash. Start and finish, started on the 21st of May and I finished on the 24th of May. And I've still got a little bit of this bloody linen I can cut off and use for something else. So anyway, I really like how it turned out. So really highly, the orange and red were both highly variegated. So those petals are all, one thread colour. And I think he came out really well. The white's nice and bright. I think the white was actually a week's, so that might be my one exception. And then I just found a random charm out of my charm box that just says made with love on it, and stitched that onto the cat's collar. I actually like it better than if I had a big red petite treasure from Mill. And the little footprints are a little more pale on this. They definitely are more visible in person, but there's these little lavender footprints around cat prints, probably on the chart because it's on weight. You can see them a little bit clearer, but they're pretty clear on this in person. I'm happy with it. I'm unlikely to frame it. I'm sure I'll make it into a cushion in my future. And yeah, because you know, it's the sort of thing I wouldn't probably put on my wall, but I think it's adorable. I am going to give these 2 charts away, and I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to do it now. So I'm going to pass on. It's a little battered. I mean, it's only because I've taken it in and out of the bag a million times to show you. Just for your knowledge, this one had an errata, like a correction sheet. So this correction sheet is in the chart loose, so just be careful if you win it. And from section 11 there was it was just missing. It went section 10 and then section 12, so section 11 is loose. If you're not familiar with Rosewood Manor charts, even if you don't want to do this, there are lots of she also always provides other options, sometimes a little samplers. There's a little sampler there, so if you wanted to personalize it, you've got the alphabet there. So that is literally the that design there is sort of designed that you would put your initials in there, so it's why there's weird spacing. I didn't do that because I was queen of the needle. Just dropped it on the floor. One moment. There's also, she's got a little chart for like a needlebook cover if you wanted. So there's always just little doofily things in here that is another needlebook cover. I won't flash that one. So yeah, there's like for this one 2 mini samplers, an alphabet, 3 little needlebook covers, and of course you can stitch any one of these you know, to your heart's consent really. So you don't need to stitch all this, you could just use it as a freaking crown reference. So if you're really interested in this, then I think that you just need to use the word crown, CROWN, and I'll draw somebody next video for that one. And I'm also going to give away Cats Could Talk. I think I have another one of those little charms that I used as well, so if I do, I'll throw it in if I can find it. If you want this one, you want to be in the draw for this one, put your name in for, put your name, say, let's have that one, crown, so cat. So crown, cat. I'll draw them. Yay. So video's getting a little bit long, so I'm not going to do, well, I just showed off 8 FFOs, so I'm not going to do any what's in the cupboard this week. I can't imagine I'm going shopping next week or getting FFOs, so probably as long as the video is not too long, I will show off more finishes next week. But I am going to have a new start next week. I was talking with my lovely friend Christine and sort of saying, oh my god, I got so much stuff, I need to probably start stuff just so that it started. And she goes, well, we should start it anyway. I talked about she suggested, why don't we do one of your ink circles, I've got quite a few, or one of my shoot, what was the one called, Artsy Housewife. And I said, well, Artsy Housewife, I haven't got anything kitted up yet. I still need to do, that might be a lie, I think I do. But I said, oh, what about my ink circles? I just bought all this floss. So we're going to do a start along. I said, why don't we do either side of winter? So this weekend coming up is, you know, going into June, and it's a long weekend for me, King's birthday weekend. So I'm going to start stitch along with my friend Christine, so ink circles, and then at the end of winter we'll do a Artsy Housewife start. So I'm going to do Forest for the Trees. It's the one I most recently purchased, and it's the one that I've been purchasing all of these lovely classic color works for. Like, I decided just to go with the call for, partly because I don't have this many greens. Greens are really hard when you get kits, and when you get clubs, I don't have all these beautiful greens. So I decided to just get them, and I showed you these the other day. Most of them I got from, I don't remember, probably with my 1, 2, 3 order stitch, and then I got a couple from Catherine. The Eringo Emerald is one I missed off for some reason, so I got that from Catherine. So here's all the greens. So, you know, beautiful. And then I've got that, it's the one red, classic Colourworks, licorice red. I am doing my 1/2 on, I think, 40 count. So it was stitched on, the model stitched on 32 count atypical linen by Mystic Fabrics. And it's all full crosses, only one skein needed, even if you stitch over 2 over 2, and I'm stitching 1 over 1, so 1 over 2. So this is a fabric I dyed a while ago for myself. It's just a slightly peachy sort of cream. It's a 40 count, and I felt like this one has a little bit more pink in the fabric, which I don't love necessarily, but I felt like it was a good kind of, felt like it represented relatively well. And I think having this slightly peachy color with all those greens and then kind of playing off of the red of the licorice will be quite cool. So starting next week, I need to go and get them a photocopy. Very excited. She's very full, and I think it'll just be one where you pick a color, stitch the whole bit, whatever, like any kind of thing you stitch, really pick a color and stitch it. I love that the border changes. It'll be probably a pain in the ass stitching it. Looks like you have some of the one color, then a red one, then some color, then a red one, then some color, but all varying different lengths of little triangles. It's kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to starting that next week. I start along with Christine. So yeah, I haven't had ink circles on the go for a little while. What else do I need to talk about quickly? Next week on Saturday, I'm running the kind of organising on behalf of Anne, the quarterly Wellington Region Stitchy Gathering. So for anyone watching who comes along, don't forget it's new location because we can't go to the Collective Hub anymore. They're shut down or not available anymore. So we're going to be at the St. John's Anglican Church just up the road opposite on the second roundabout once you head towards Churton Park. So on the left, and if you watch, have a look at the group, the Wellington Stitching group. I think a couple of weeks ago Anne put up a couple of videos showing how to get to because it's a bit weird to get into the car park, and also where the room is. I'll be there from about 10:30, so don't come any earlier there. And reminder, we need to pay for this location, so you do need to bring $5, or you can pay that by internet banking. So just be aware that we do have to pay for that one now. So see you there. And that's probably it. That's my public service announcement. So be a busy week this week coming up, just like last week, and then 3-day weekend, whoop whoop. And other than the stitching thing on the Saturday, going to the art show Friday afternoon after work, or 3 o'clock, but don't. I should be in good state to come back to you next Sunday. Got a bit dark. It's a bit weird, but the lights got a bit weird. I didn't put the lights on, but never mind. Gonna go, have to edit quite a bit of this. It's gonna take a while to get up. Let's not leave it till 6 o'clock, Leigh. Let's start now. Don't forget, if you're interested in putting your name in for others, haven't had a getaway for a while, anywhere in the world, don't care. Crown is a keyword for that. Cat is a keyword for that. And all the usual guff, avoid all those keywords that a robot or a spam bot could find. So no giveaway, free, win, any of those sorts of things. And I need to be able to give you address and stuff so I can post them to you. The that's it, really. I'm going to go and I might go to the market quickly. I might go to the market, get some fruit. I've got plenty of veggies and maybe something yummy from one of the artisan places for lunch because I feel like a little treat. I'll see you next week. Take care, and as always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.